to talk a bit about seeking and the gradual chipping away of identification. I know some people have had a sudden liberation or sudden realization, and a lot, or a big chunk almost, that everything is just kind of falling away, kind of falling away of the me in a moment. And who knows, maybe that's something that may happen in this character location. Not that anything happens, it's like the end of happening, really. But from this perspective, all I can talk about is this gradual stripping away of things that I'm identified with or attached to in unhealthy ways. So initially there was, like most people, I was seeking in activities, experiences, relationships, just going through the motions of life, just going from things to things, looking forward to events and waiting for the next cool thing, or a night out, or relationship, or holidays, buying things, and all of that still happens. But at some point there was a realization that there was, all of this was just kind of futile, and none of them could deliver lasting peace. So the attention shifted onto spiritual seeking. Those airplanes as a moment of presence. So yeah, spiritual seeking. So then looking for enlightenment. Enlightenment. Not that anyone can get enlightened, but because that's an oxymoron. Enlightenment is already everything. Everything is enlightenment. Anyway, going a bit absolute there. Back to duality. So yeah, then that began to happen. So then I started to disidentify from things like, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not my body, I'm not my feelings, I'm not my emotions, I'm not my blah 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 blah, the neti process, right? I'm not this, I'm not that. And then you kind of go to, I am that which is aware of this, or I am awareness, which is great as a kind of way to disentangle from something that we're so caught up in and identified in the day-to-day. And then at some point I realized that even that is futile as well. And I started getting the volume turned up on the subtle attachments, the subtle identification, the stickiness of unhealthy thought patterns and emotions and behaviors and ways of relating to people, and the volume just got amplified, and it still is amplified. The littlest things that would normally be easily brushed off as blame, or that person's an asshole, or they're wrong, I'm right, or just distraction, like, oh, I don't want to feel like this, so I'll go play PlayStation or watch a film or go get drunk or get high or just anything to cover that up no longer could be done. I can't now. I physically cannot turn away from these triggers. And it's uncomfortable, but I wouldn't want it any other way, because it's that discomfort that calls me into the curiosity of integrating what I've been turning away from, and realizing that that's also the absolute. Actually, all the things that you turn away from in the neti process then become the things that are invitations to the absolute again. And then the falling away of unhealthy attachments becomes refined, and you start chipping away more and more at these really subtle ways of identifying with unhealthy ways of thinking or relating or behaving or reacting. That's kind of what's happening. And that happens, and with that comes a lot more peace, a lot more space between my thoughts, a lot more patience. Not always, because it's a being. It's a messy process, but that's what's happening, and I can't speak too much of the absolute message, although I fully understand it here and have had many glimpses here and in experience. But at the moment, I'm just enjoying this curiosity into where I was previously identified, and the stickiness of these emotions that didn't serve me and caused suffering. Some non-duality speakers describe this as a gradual falling away of the self, of the me. And I can safely say that that's what seems to be happening here. And it's a crazy roller coaster process. It is a process. Realization is an instantaneous thing, but the refinement of my way of living to align with this is an ongoing process, which will take the rest of my life. And it's beautiful, it's messy, it's uncomfortable, it's stressful, but it's also like, when these things happen, there's nothing else I'd rather do. I no longer want to put on a film to escape to, or just make the easy choice of that person's an asshole, I'm right, move on, or bitch and moan to someone. I'm now just like, yeah, well, what can I learn from this? How can this make the dream bus more comfortable, as people say? Still driving the dream bus, but liberation may or may not happen, and I'm beginning to care less and less. I'd rather just make the dream bus comfortable, because after all, I am stuck in the dream bus. Even though I may be aware that the dream bus is a dream bus, I can do nothing but drive it. So why not? Why not make the seats a bit nicer and put some music on? What else am I going to do? Anyway, 10 minutes of waffles today and a lot of airplanes. Hope you're having an awesome day and sending lots of love. Yeah, ciao for now.